What's up? Hope you're doing well. We're breaking down an efficient and effective leg day that I'm running in my program right now. I wanted to show it to you guys, give you this template, because right now I'm trying to get in and out of the gym fast while still making sure I'm hitting all the major muscle groups in a really effective way to still stimulate some growth. And so came up with this system. It's working really well for me, so I wanted to share it with you. Now, obviously, like I said, the two main goals are efficiency, so I'm trying to be in and out in about an hour, and then effectiveness. So I want to hit all the major muscle groups, and I want to hit them hard, and I want to hit them well. So let's give this a little more context. What are the major muscle groups you want to hit? So obviously a leg day. The context is I'm running a pretty standard upper lower, 4 or 5 days, 2 uppers, 2 lowers with an arm day in there if I feel like it. So this is my primary leg day. And on my primary leg day, my first day of the week, usually stereotypically it's a squat. I'm doing a squat as well, so it's going to be your quad, your glutes primarily. And then we're also hitting calves on both leg days as well. So the basic structure of it is you got your squat variation. The thing I want to start by saying the effectiveness of this workout comes from fitting in barbell movements in the rack, so you don't have to change the setup. So our first 3 movements and 4 if you do calf raises with the barbell, are all going to be at the same setup in the squat rack. So that's really where the effectiveness comes from, and or the efficiency comes from, and the effectiveness comes from there as well, because we're doing big compound movements in the rack like that. So we're starting off with a squat. You can do any squat variation here. One of the probably the most effective movement just for overall general full body growth is a squat variation. That the axial loading, the weight bearing, brutally effective. Right now I'm doing a back squat. You could easily substitute a zombie squat, front squat, Zercher squat, anything you want in there really. I don't like to superset that. I do it by itself usually. Then I go a hinge. Now specifically because, like I said, I don't want to change the setup. I want to be as efficient as possible. I always pair my squats with a hinge. In this situation, I'm using a Goodmorning, right? So I do my squats, right? Take some weight off, go right into Goodmornings. And that's also another brutally effective exercise, because you get more out of less weight, but you can go through such a big range of motion that it just develops the whole posterior chain extremely well. Glutes, hamstrings, lower back, upper back, pretty much core, everything. There's not much it doesn't hit. Then we're moving on to, so we got the first 2, boom, squat and the hinge out of the way. Now we're moving on to a unilateral squat variation. So usually, you got your main squat, it's a bilateral movement, you're progressing. I like to pair that with, at some point in my program, some sort of single leg work. Now, it doesn't have to be a squat. I'm actually doing a squat just to get your mind thinking, okay, it's a pushing pattern, right? For this, I'm actually doing a reverse lunge. So squat, take some weight off. Goodmornings, take some weight off. Now we're even lighter, we're doing lunges. So turn it right around. This is gonna hit the glutes especially well, just because of the way the hip is coming into extension as you're coming up. So it's obviously a lot of quads too, but I find it hits my hips a little more, especially if I use a narrower stance, just to really increase the amount of hip flexion at the bottom, right? Hip and knee flexion at the bottom. So after those are our major movers. We got those out of the way. Now we are fitting in some isolation here. So we got the quad hamstring superset. This is really easy to do. You can just do some leg extensions, superset with some leg curls. Now I will say, with this quad isolation in particular, these 2, the squat and the single leg variation, are hitting, you want to pick a different resistance profile. That's why I pick the quad extensions, because if you look at, the lever arm is where the most tension is on the muscle, right? So if you do a squat, wherever you're parallel to the ground, that's where that muscle is going to be most stretched, right? So in a squat, right, I bend down, this is my knee right here, I bend down, boom, that's 90 degrees right there. The most tension is on the muscle at the bottom, right? But if I do a leg extension, this is my knee again, right here. As I get up here, that's where it's parallel to the ground. So the most tension is at the top. So for your isolation here, you're going to want to just use a different resistance profile than your main movement. That way you can, not only are you being efficient, but you're working the muscle through different ranges of motion, different strength adaptations, different hypertrophy adaptations, maybe. Just something to think about. The hamstrings, I don't really care about because we have a whole other day for them. But that's just something to think about. You could, for the quads, you could do reverse Nordics, a sissy squat in there as well. It's going to do a similar effect. That's a little more nuanced, but it's the kind of thing you want to think about when you're trying to get the most out of your training in the least amount of exercises, right? I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. I want to, get as much variation in there. It's like you don't just want to eat ice cream. You want to eat a variety of foods. That's how you're going to be your healthiest. Then I'm finishing the workout with some GPP. Just want to get moving. Usually, this is as easy as picking up some dumbbells and doing a farmer's walk. That's what I've been doing recently. I've been doing a longer farmer's walk, about 90 seconds, just to hit the grip a little more, and also because I'm trying to get more out of less weight. But you could do a carry, you could do sled pushes. This is honestly optional. You really don't even have to do this if you don't want to. I find that covering the major motion patterns, right? You got a squat, push, vertical pull, hinge, and a carry. You're going to get most of your bases covered. So you got 3 of those 5 in this workout, and this could even double as some core, right? You could already do like a single arm farmer's carry to kind of offset there. So that's just another example of a more nuanced way to structure your training to kind of get the most out of really very little workout amount of exercises. And then superset it with these two, right? So I said I didn't want to superset with my main exercises. We're going to fit in some calves and some core. So with the Good Mornings, I like to just head over to the leg press machine and do some calves. And then with the reverse lunges, I'll just hop off and do some hanging leg raises from the bar. You could do any ab movement. That's the one I like right now, is the hanging leg raises in the rack, right? Because we're going for efficiency. And if you want to be even more efficient, you could even do barbell calf raises with one of these. Again, I probably wouldn't do it with your squat just because it'll be a heavier weight, but with these you can. I've tried that. I don't love it. It's not perfect, generally, because I find doing a hard set of Good Mornings or a hard set of lunges, you're going to be cooked, right? So the leg press or a calf machine is probably the best way to go. But if you're really pressed for time, you could just kind of push through the fatigue, maybe stand on a plate and do your calf raises with the barbell there. And then you could obviously add in a little cardio warm-up if you want to, but if you don't have the time, you don't have the time. That's kind of why we're here. Now, the pros of this setup, obviously it's efficient and effective. You're hitting the major compounds I already talked about. You're getting squat, hinge, and a carry, and a unilateral movement pattern. And there's not a lot of setup time, right? You're not changing plates a lot. You're not trying to find an open rack. You're not trying to, you're not messing around. You're just getting straight to business. And another benefit is all these movements are standardized and easily progressible, right? It's not like some weird movement where, it's more of like, I feel I'm moving better, but it's hard to track my progress. No, you can see the weight going up every week and tell if you're making progress. And also it's very flexible with the rotations, right? You can use any squat pattern with any rep range, any hinge really with any rep range, any unilateral variation you want. You can do a step up, a forward lunge, reverse front lunge, side lunge, pistol squat. You could pretty much sub anything you want in here and make it work. Some of the cons though is going to be the axial loading. So the things that make it good are the things that can be drawbacks, right? Because these are such effective lifts, they can also tire you out really quick. Like the axial loading on your back, squats, a lot of weight, squats, hinges, lunges, it's very fatiguing. So that can add up really quick, especially for more advanced lifters, who have to use more weight, put more effort in. This is probably best run if you're a newer lifter or more of an intermediate lifter, or you just haven't done these in a while. So I'd be careful about that. But you'll be able to tell if that's happening. Along those lines is kind of the fatigue creep, making the workout longer, because these are hard movements, and as you progress them, you might do this this style of leg day for a month or two, a couple months even. As you start getting stronger, you might have to take longer rest times, and then that's gonna lengthen the workout. That could creep up. So all of a sudden, now I can't fit in my GPP because I got to rest for 5 minutes instead of 3 minutes in between lifts. So that's how you'll know it might be time to switch up the template or switch out an exercise. So just be careful of that. And there is also a lack of isolation in this type of workout. So we only got really one isolation. You can count calves too, but could lead to a little bit of torso dominance. Just something to watch. This is probably not the ideal bodybuilding setup, but it's not a perfect scenario to begin with. And then just some overuse if you don't rotate enough. But this is the current leg day that I'm doing. I've found great success with it just because I can get in and out quick, hit everything I need to fast, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm gonna leave this template down below if you want to copy and paste into your workouts. And if you got any questions, let me know. Any questions, comments, whatever, let me know. I hope it helps you, and I hope you have a great day.